Hi, I'm Matt Quoker. Think about this. In 150 years, every single person on the face of the planet will no longer be here. They'll pass away and die. My name's Matt Quoker. I'm here to ask people like you and me the questions they've always wanted to ask about death. It's raining, so we better head on inside to see what people have to say.
Being Muslim,
Yep.
and I'm sure we've got some traditions that we would follow. And he said, okay, what happens is when somebody passes away, if you can, you try to bury them on that same day.
Yep.
And what you do is with the body, you would wash the body
Yes.
and make sure the body's clean of hair. And obviously the body would be at home and people come over and pay some respects.
Yes.
And then they would wrap the body up in a white cotton sheet,
Yes.
being pure.
Yes.
And the face is open. So it's like how Westerners do open casket
Yes,
viewing.
yes.
So the Muslims do that as well in a different setting. And then the body is taken. The body is actually transferred from the house in a coffin.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a green kind of drape which has got in Arabic writing God's name.
Mm-hmm.
And the people take it towards the gravesite.
Mm-hmm.
And when the body is to be transferred from the coffin to the ground, it is not transferred with the
That's right.
with the coffin. So the body is removed and placed onto dirt because we came from the dirt, so we're going to go back into the dirt, into the ground.
I've actually conducted some Muslim funeral
Sure.
services, and it is actually an absolutely beautiful, beautiful ending to a life and a farewell to witness. And,
Yes.
and for me, in my experience,
Yep.
when I did we were at the mosque,
Yes.
and just the amount, the family connection, and the amount of mourners, and just the love that was in that mosque,
Yes.
and the respect and the care, and it was beautiful to witness.
Yes.
It really, really was. And
Yes.
for me, it really opened up my eyes to traditions that I hadn't been exposed to.
Yes.
And
that's right.
and you know, because for me, I always assumed it was a closed type thing, and when I was engaged to conduct the service, and
Yes.
and I was part of it, and I had no knowledge, and the deceased had about 12 children, and she
Wow.
was just, and the family were just so beautiful. They walked me through everything, and I said, forgive me if I if I don't do, and they went,
Yeah.
that's fine. We
That's
do
right.
everything.
Yeah.
We just want you to be here to support us.
Yeah, that's
And to
beautiful.
me, it was one of the most. It was actually a turning point in my understanding and interpretation of life doing that
Yes.
that service.
Yes,
and
yes.
it's absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
So how old were you when you first experienced that?
I would say I was a teenager at that
Teenager,
time.
yep.
And so obviously at an age where I can
Comprehend.
thank
Yeah.
you. And the other interesting thing is, once the body is placed into the ground, see, I thought the dirt is then placed onto the body.
Yes.
But however, respecting the dead, they actually place either slabs of concrete or timber,
yeah.
so it doesn't actually go directly hits the deceased.
Yes.
That's
Very
amazing.
respectful, yeah.
Very respectful, exactly. And then it's buried, and they do
Yes.
their traditional prayers and etc.
And Billy, for you, have you experienced? How old were you when you first experienced death?
First, I would have been also teenager.
Right. Okay.
Would have been about 13.
Right.
Um,
And was death openly talked about in your family, or
very,
right?
very.
Okay. What background are you? If you don't...
Serbian.
Sorry, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Serbian. Very open, actually. Spiritually, we talked about. We also take photos.
Right. Okay. Now, are you Serbian Orthodox?
Yes, Serbian Orthodox, yeah. And we take photos of the dead because we believe that what you see, that's what you're going to see on Earth. And then when they pass away, we know how the body decomposes and doing all that sort of stuff. And then you have where the soul, the spirit, goes to heaven. But as you were saying before, as Orthodox, we have 40 days.
Right. Okay.
So
And you also eat what is it? Once the service is complete and the deceased is buried, you have a meal by the grave.
Yes, we do.
Right, okay.
We do the service in the church, and then we go to. My mum passed away a month ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, and
Sorry.
that's why I'm wearing black, and we wear that for a year.
Right.
In remembrance. We also have the 40 days, which means the 40 days is the time where my mum passed away. They say they get judged before they go to heaven.
Right.
So the 40 days, when that happens, we have a ceremony and a blessing, and then we have that 3 months. No, sorry, 6 months, and then 1 year.
So, in your experience with and if you don't mind asking, with losing your mum recently, did you find, because what I found being Yugoslav myself, the everyone rallies around you,
Yes.
and then
And everybody takes turns of feeding the guests.
yeah, okay. It's very family orientated.
Absolutely. We have the holy bread.
Yes.
We have honey, and we have a special wheat that we have. Then we have that with wine, a cup of wine, and then we have also rakia.
Like to have a drink.
The
The
exactly
traditional drink, the rakia. I love the rakia.
Oh, absolutely.
One glass, you're gone.
Well, when you mix the wine and the rakia, then get a hotel.
That's it. And did you have any siblings? Or who?
I'm the only child.
So you made all the
Yeah,
funeral
mum
arrangements?
saw me and thought, no, that's it.
Oh well, I'm the youngest, so mum stopped at me too. So did you make all the funeral arrangements and do all that, or did you have family assist you?
No, I was lucky. My partner, she took care of that.
It's
I
the
couldn't have done it
Turkish
without-
background, isn't it? The mothering, you got to
That's
look
it,
after
pretty
everyone.
much. So I just removed that burden off,
That's good.
So I said to Billy, you've got enough on your plate. You just concentrate on the emotion side, spend as whatever time you have, and leave all the legality, logistics, paperwork, and everything. Leave that with me. I'll
Yeah.
sort that all out.
And if you don't mind me asking, how long
Sure.
have you two been together for?
10 years.
10 years it'll be.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
And many more.
And well, forever.
Amen.
That's it.
Amen to
Amen.
everybody.
Amen.
Yeah.
Now, with that, was because of COVID currently, did you find that affected the service numbers? Because I know myself, with our family, everyone would want to, slata, smilia, everyone that you've dealt with.
Well, yeah. The thing
All
is,
wanna come and give their respect.
it was only
Absolutely.
my mum and my father. My father already passed away, so it was my mum and myself.
So no other family here?
No.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
It was, my parents came from overseas 1970,
Wow.
and it was just them. And then I came along, and that's all it's been. Just a few friends that we met along the way, and there was about
13 to 15 people were there.
and that's including the preacher, and it was great because the people that were there,
The close people.
Meant something.
yeah,
And that's beautiful, because
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, what I find is people only ever meet at funeral services.
That's so true.
well, that's right.
And I've actually had people comment to saying, they didn't want to know mum, dad in life, why want to come in death and be part of their life now.
Yeah.
And I think, in your instance, in a way, it's a blessing in disguise that it's you and you've got an amazing partner to be able to support you.
I couldn't
you.
have done it mentally. She supports me when I'm home alone, sort of thing, in my own thoughts, and because it is mentally challenging.
Oh, definitely.
We're supporting each other,
you
know.
And grief, and the most important thing is, because a lot of Europeans, I don't know, if you've experienced it, they don't speak about their emotions.
No.
The whole mantra is, you feel it, you keep it inside, you don't want to worry anyone else.
That too, and you're home alone, and that's when you sort of shed your skin,
that's
kind
when
of thing.
you-
Yeah, exactly.
We shouldn't be afraid of speaking about death. It's a good thing that while parents are around with their with their children, isn't it? Sit down and chat and explain to them.
Yeah.
Sit down and explain to them. Don't apart from anything else that you need to talk to them about. Death is very important
Yeah.
to talk
It is.
about.
My mum, before Poko and Mum passed away, we were actually talking about the spiritual side of things. When she passes, talking about, she was saying to me, I said to her, am I going to hear you? Are you going to come into my dreams?
Sign, yep.
And she said to me, which now he's reassuring. She said, for the first 40 days, you will not hear me, you will not see me. And I said to her, why is that? She goes, because this is a journey that she has to do herself. Pay for her sins, do what needs to be done for her to be sent up in heaven.
But you know what though too, Billy, that's a beautiful analogy, but and it's true, like, you know, your mum will give you a son, that's my belief.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
But I'm not so...
Yes.
If she never told me that, I would have been panicking.
Yeah.
Why haven't I seen her in my dreams? Why has she not given me a sign? But because we talked about it, and she gave me that reassurance that I won't hear, and I haven't so far, and it's been a month. Still got 9 more days before the 40 days. I hope, and I do believe, that
She'll
she
give you a
will.
sign.
Absolutely.
Whether it's, you know, they often say it could be a feather.
Absolutely.
It could be a
Something
bird,
that
it could be
represents-
something that represents your
Yes,
relationship.
or a
with your mum.
smell.
Yep.
Yep.
A smell, exactly. And,
Cooking.
And,
Yeah, I've seen
and see, yeah. And the thing is though too, like, you know, this is what I say to families, you know, and for you, Billy, your mum was obviously your best friend, being an only child.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, did you get that closure to say things you wanted to say to her before she passed, do you think? Do you think you had
Yeah.
conversations that if she was well or if she was alive, that you wouldn't have had, like that you had, that, you know, if she wasn't sick?
Yeah, we reminisced about childhood. We did that. That was great. But what was important to me is how she got me through being with my partner, telling me that she's proud of me,
Oh, that's beautiful.
knowing that she really loved Filiz and was very supportive of
What's
that.
not to love? She's
No.
lovely.
I
Thank you.
can,
Thanks, mate.
yeah, that's right. That was the thing, being an only child.
Yeah.
Having your mother
Share that love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and being happy. Because growing up, being a wog, it was very hard. Being called names, being, you know.
It's good. Look, let your emotions out. It's the best. It's the best thing you can do. Like, and this is what's going to happen. Really, like too. Everything's so fresh.
Yes.
And you're going through this whole grief cycle that everyone experiences differently.
Yes.
And you know, you're extremely fortunate, even though your parents aren't here. You've got someone who obviously adores and loves you and supports you.
I couldn't have done it without her.
Yeah. And you know, and it's evident with the emotion that, you know, you're soulmates.
Yeah.
And see, and this is what I say to people: the most important thing with the people that you're with after you lose some, be open, be honest.
Absolutely.
If you feel like crap, say you feel like crap.
Do you know
Communicate with each other.
the hardest
Yeah.
thing is and what, as well as people being afraid of death, is also mental illness.
Yeah, that's true.
It's tested my mental strength
Yep.
as much as it's tested Filiz's mental strength, because in her sense, testing her mental strength, seeing me the way I am, but also my mental state of being accepting of that this is what I'm going through, and knowing that when I do fall,
She's there to carry you, and that's beautiful, Billy. That is,
Yeah.
and so, like, you know, like mental health is such a big issue, and especially in the ethnic community where we don't talk.
it's a taboo, isn't it? Like death, it's a taboo.
You know, you don't talk about your
Yeah,
emotions. You know what? You don't go on antidepressants because you know what you're being stupid. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
100%.
And that's you know,
and that mentality, men don't cry.
that's right.
You know,
That's right.
that's
And see, like for me, like, you know, I went down a similar journey, you know, quite a few years ago now. But you know, I actually thought, in my opinion, that antidepressant pills were for weak people.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
and you're
Yes.
weak if you go on antidepressant.
or if you cry, you're not
Yep.
man enough.
And like for me, I actually was on them for a couple of years. And looking back now, life's a journey of lessons.
When I did cry or I did get upset, she would just, I never got told man up. And that was the first time I allowed myself to cry, because she never said man up.
And I bet that when you cried, it just flowed.
Like a river.
Yeah.
And I tell you, to be honest, I never felt so relieved.
And light.
Yeah.
See, like with me, with my job, you know, I don't know if I've taught myself to control my emotions, and for me, I don't cry a lot, but when I cry when I get angry. So if
Yeah,
I start
frustrations
crying when I
or
get
something, yeah.
frustration, people run. But you know, like, or when I do cry because I'm sad, I can't stop.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen often. but when it does, it's, and that's sort of like the same thing that you experienced, but you feel this whole...
Absolutely, and what
Like
I've learned
euphoric
from that, I felt more
feeling,
stronger
Yeah.
crying
Yeah.
than I did when I didn't cry.
Yeah.
I felt much more strong, much, that people say, manly, because I did cry, because I allowed myself to feel.
It's like you washed out all this feeling
Absolutely.
inside. You built it up.
Absolutely. Like Filiz was
just-
saying, water cleanses.
Yeah.
Tears cleanse.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
Tears
right.
cleanse. Guys, if you could just sort of let me know, how has your perception of death changed from a child to your experience now? Has it changed much, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I have personally, with the passing of a mother-in-law, that was a really big eye-opener to actually witness in the room with her in palliative care, and to actually witness her passing away in front of my eyes.
I was very grateful because Filiz ended up washing her.
yeah.
And that was...
That's a beautiful...
That's a feeling. I don't know. I don't think it's for everybody.
No.
Being
That's a beautiful gift you could give someone for this.
yes, being I was kind of traumatized for about a week. You might say, why? Okay, the sounds that the person makes when they pass away, and the rattling sounds, and the change of color, and all that. So it took me a week to actually have those in the background removed from me, because it was like it was still in my ear.
Yep.
the death rattle.
Yes, all of that, the whole experience. It took me about a week to actually. It was like you kind of see the picture. But how did it make me feel? Do you know? Because I mourned for her for the 6 weeks that she was in palliative care. I was emotional. I did cry, etc. But I was strong.
But you know what? Because you were strong for someone you love.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just strong.
They say you're the rock.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing about soulmates, is that one's the
And
rock for
shock.
someone when they need it, the other one's
Yeah.
the rock for the other when they need it. And I
Yeah,
think that's
and
beautiful
it's
to
just a
witness.
shock. The whole thing happened is shock. So both Billy and I were like, because we're running here, running there, doing this, doing that, and we're all on a high. We're on a high.
Yeah, your adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that was going full speed ahead until everything kind of settled, and then it was like a big
Fall.
bang fall. Yeah. So we dealt with it, and as we were talking about discussing before, sometimes we kind of, which Billy will, see his mum in his dream, because I saw
believe
my father after a year, and we spoke,
That's beautiful.
and I smelt a smell in my mother-in-law's kitchen that I recognised.
That's right.
I smelled
Sadama, was it Sadama?
No, it was Sharpie, the cookies.
there was
Oh, the cookies!
Sharpie.
Yeah, I smelled something,
Yeah.
and I thought I dealt with her passing away, and all of a sudden I'm in the kitchen. I opened up this drawer, and the smell came, and the smell was what I recognised from her kitchen.
Oh, beautiful.
That got me very upset,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stop crying. I just cried and cried.
And did you cry because she was around you, or did you cry because it was the mourning, or like letting go of all of your emotions of supporting Billy, or?
Do you know what, Matt? I don't know. I don't know. I think it was a bit of a shock. I'm like, I did say to her, please give us a sign. Please give us a sign. So I don't know if that was a sign or not. I don't know, but it was kind of like a shock. I sometimes do feel like someone's around. I do feel that. Because I've got this, I'm very sensitive with energy.
Good. As a lot of people are.
Yeah.
I have to say I was very grateful with Filiz, because when Mum passed away, I've looked after. I used to be a nurse, and so I've dealt with a lot of deaths and things like that. For me, to have my own mother pass and to wash her body and to I know this is going to sound harsh, but put her in a body bag.
No, it's not hard.
And
A
to
lot of
tag.
people can't do that, and it's beautiful that you did.
Yeah.
I wanted as a nurse to do, if I could do it for others and gave that respect, I felt I could do that for my mum
Absolutely.
last time. So when I was grateful that my partner washed her, put her in a bag, tagged her, put her on the gurney and took her to the
Mortuary.
mortuary.
Yeah.
And to me that
That was a sign of respect.
No,
She brought you into this world. You assisted taking her out, and that's a beautiful thing. You both did.
Yeah.
That is such a beautiful gift to give someone
You
that
know.
not many people
Well,
felt
have the
honoured.
strength to do.
Have
It is honor. It's an honor.
Opportunity.
I felt
No,
honoured
opportunity.
that I got to give my mum what I gave for many more people that have passed along the way.
Yeah.
That I finally got the chance to give her.
You're getting me teary. I don't get teary, Billy.
It's all good.
God bless.
But
Right,
you know
yeah.
what? And you know what? That you are two amazing, beautiful people. And I've never met you before today.
Thank you.
No, exactly.
And you
This
know,
is the first time
I believe
we're speaking
I
with
believe
you.
people come into your life for a reason. People
Absolutely.
come and go.
It's fate, all of
People
it.
come and go out of your life.
Absolutely.
But there's those few that you meet that,
Kindred spirits.
yeah, and that's what you two are.
Amen.
And I think it is
Yeah.
beautiful. And I think this journey with your mum, you know what? You thank her because it's brought you both closer together.
100%.
It's brought you both closer together and an opportunity that not many partners do.
Absolutely, because I know some, as you said, partners do. That is absolutely true. Some partners will not cooperate. Some
And different
partners-
cultures. We're totally two different cultures.
They
from-
won't get involved together. They might say, "Oh, that's your mum or that's your
Oh,
dad."
yeah.
You know,
I was
so it's-
afraid. I was
yeah.
to be honest. I was actually afraid to ask. But Filiz saw the struggle and she said, "Would you like me to help wash your mum?" And
That's the connection.
that was it.
That's
Yeah.
the connection.
I didn't say anything, but she knew.
Can I tell you something? One of the most emotional points of my life was we had a Jewish
Ceremony,
deceased in
Yeah.
care. Very similar to the Muslim tradition. Is
Yes,
the Jewish.
yes,
But this
that's
man,
right.
he said, "Can I wash my mum?" And I went, "Yeah, you can." And I said, "Look, I have to be." He goes, "Look, that's fine."
Yeah.
And as he was watching her, he went, "These are the hands that used to discipline me as a child.
Yeah.
They hugged me, they caressed me." And he went through every part of her body.
Yeah.
And he spoke about it to his mum. And he
Yeah.
went, "Thank you." And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I am witnessing one of the most beautiful moments of my life.
Yeah.
Because he thanked his mother, who I think she's about 92.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was just such a moment between two people
Yes,
that you
yes.
don't often get. And that's
Yeah.
something that you guys have experienced.
And
Yeah.
thank God. I mean, these days we've got phones and things like that. But
Communication, yeah.
I took videos and photos. As I said before, in the
process of
beginning,
your mum.
of my
Yeah.
process of her passing
Yeah.
and the death rattle and things like that. And it was very interesting looking back at the video as she was passing. The lights started to flicker.
Absolutely.
The energy, it was really, and then all of a
Something
sudden it
Yeah.
went.
And it was very educating. It's like I
Yeah.
said to myself, all those people that probably don't believe that there's an energy force.
Yeah.
The skeptics.
Absolutely.
Thank you, the skeptics.
And also,
yeah.
and also, people, you know, feel that may be disrespectful, taking photos of the dead or doing that. It was very interesting to see how the body, from where it is to where it ends up, and I've got photos of me holding my mum's hand when she passed, and the skin, the
tone.
rubber. It was in those few hours. How
But you know what you've got there with those photos? I'm sure there are plenty of people who are watching this that wish that they took photos of holding their mother or father or loved one's hand. They wish they took or kept a memento, whether it be a handprint or a lock of hair or something like that. Because the process is so final, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, and I think...
It's not going to come back again. They're not going to come
That's
back
right.
again.
See, that's like
Yeah.
in the Victorian time.
Yeah.
Back in the day, they couldn't
care.
afford. They couldn't
Yes.
afford, so
Yeah.
they took photos,
Yes.
and that's where it all started. Where the living room became, because that's where the deceased used to be.
That's right, because they used to move the body
That's
out from
right.
the living room.
And because it was expensive to have photos,
Yes.
They took the photos of deceased as a family photo.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what, guys? That's why I think this has been such an amazing experience for me, because I could talk to you guys for about 5 hours and we'll get in trouble. But I was just going to go say,
Yeah.
do you guys have any questions for me before we?
Well, actually, we do, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
All right.
Let me just whip them out.
Oh no,
Matt,
All
we
right.
are fully
Oh, my
prepared. These are
goodness.
hot off the press.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the
Okay, let's
press.
just see. I hope I'm smart enough to get these ones done and I know the answers.
Well, it's a lot,
Fantastic.
but it's combined from both.
okay,
sides.
okay, let's go.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
how are the homeless buried?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so with homeless people, there are providers like us.
Yeah.
We partner with institutions to give services to a percentage of homeless people. However, there are cases where people do not have any family, so they're homeless for whatever situation.
That's it, yeah.
So if they pass away, they become like a ward of the state. It becomes a destitute funeral.
Yep.
So it's called a destitute funeral. The police get involved. The police do all their due diligence and search if there's any surviving family member that can pay for a funeral. That person still reserves the right to say they don't, if they weren't close to them. So then they become a ward of the state, and the state actually dispose of the deceased either via, it's not like a group, it's a single cremation or an unmarked burial.
Okay. So another question, what possessed you to become a funeral director?
What possessed me? It's quite odd, really. I got into the business. I previously did flowers, and I did flowers for the funeral home, and then family friends had a business, and then I got involved by doing the financial background of it, and then I loved helping people because every day's different. You know, you don't get. It's like you two are an amazing experience for me because you're prepared, and I speak to people who are prepared, people who aren't prepared, people who are angry, people who are sad. So for me, every day is different, and we get to help people through one of the most hardest times of their lives. Like I've been out shopping, and I'm with my kids, and people go, "Hi, Matt, how are you?" And I go, "Oh my God, who are you?" And they go, I go, "Hi, how are you?" And they go, "Remember you did my father's
because you
service."
gave that impression. You could
Because like sometimes people get attached because we're the last person that was with the person they loved. We were the last person that touched them. We're the last person to see them. We fulfilled their closure with their loved one, so they get this. I've made quite a few friends through the business of we're friends on Facebook. I've got one of Maureen now. She's making me a cheesecake. She's going to drop it in because I love cheesecake. So
Takes special people, doesn't it?
It does, and I'm very fortunate. But see, I meet
special
amazing
person.
people, and this is the thing. Like, it gives me such a perspective on life because what I find stressful, other people might fall apart over. People go, "Why aren't you stressed?" I go, because there's someone who's in a worse off position than me. They've just lost their mother, their father, their child.
Absolutely.
Paying a bill or being late for an appointment, who cares? That's inconsequential.
What has been the most freaky experience or moment you have witnessed?
Freaky experience. We had a mortuary in Sydney that many people felt uneasy going to. And I was there one night, and there were two spirits there.
Yes.
There was the stomper. The stomper would be upstairs and he would stomp, and I heard him a couple of times. Not angry, just stomp.
Yeah.
And there was a girl in all black, young girl, about 15, 16. And a few of us saw her in the chapel. She was the third pew back on the left, just black, short hair. And I walked through her once, but I was in the mortuary, and I saw her walk through the wall, plain as day.
Wow.
And then, but like for me, with that I didn't feel freaky. There's some that I felt freaky with, like you feel uneasy. Like I was there once, and for some reason I just went, and then I heard at the back of the mortuary, I tell you what, I hightailed it. I took off,
With one more,
We're going to get in trouble.
do you get upset?
Preparing.
Yes.
Preparing.
Yeah.
There's two cases that have really affected me, and I still visit this little girl's grave today, and this happened back in about 2006.
Okay.
And I go and I visit her, and I put a little flower on her grave, and I didn't go to the funeral service, and that was the biggest mistake I think ever. Was that this child was so beautiful. She was an angel.
Wow.
And I dressed her, and I thought I was too busy. I had other appointments that I had to go to, so I didn't go to the funeral service, and I should have gone for that closure. And I didn't go. And for me, it changed my whole perspective on my business. I went, you know what? Because I had a kinship with this child for some reason. She was just an angel.
Wow.
And for me, I should have gone, but but for me, yes, I do get affected. And the things, when I see someone get upset, you have, for me to sit there and be hard-faced, that's not human.
That's true.
And for me, if I get upset, I'll show emotion. I don't sit there and bawl.
No.
But there's been times where I've been at the back of the chapel and something beautiful happens, and I've had tears running down my face, and then I just go, I get a drink of water. That's my best medicine. A drink of water, because it tells the brain you're drinking water.
Yes.
Wipe my face, and down I go.
Yeah.
And do what I have to do.
I have a question. Is how do you prepare the body?
How do you prepare? Depends. So, look, for me, families supply clothes. We dress as per their wishes. We do what they ask. They're washed, etc. I personally don't believe if there's not a viewing, I don't believe in doing any incisions or any preparation on a person's loved one, because my belief is that I know that if it was my parent, I wouldn't want someone suturing them or doing things like
So
that.
is embalming for every...
No, not embalming. So embalming is, you know, you can do what they call temporary preservations, which
Okay.
is for a viewing,
Yep.
you know, and work to bring colouring
Sure.
back. But embalming is if they go into a crypt or a vault.
Oh,
But
I
like
see.
for, you know, like for us, you know, we dress and do as like we take photos of of their hands for the family. If they want, we take photos of their loved one complimentary. We take an ink impression of their hand or a lock of their hair. But the thing is, though, a lot of people go, oh, you know, even without the film, no, you know, I don't want that.
Yes, yeah.
So, but it's,
Wow.
you know, you still have to offer it because it's something to think about. Oh, you know, I wish I was offered that.
Yeah.
I wish I had the opportunity to get a memento or a handprint on my mum or dad. So yeah, but like everybody, like you know, again, there is a standard in which all bodies are prepared. But some families come and they say, well, we're happy for them for mum to be in her 90,
Yeah.
and we just leave them as they were.
We knew Mum in a 90 for a long time. That's why they want to send
and that's
her
what
off.
they want to do. It's like my father; he's going in a pair of stubbies, thongs, and Bonds t-shirt. That's what
That's it.
Good old Bogan.
Good old Bogan. That's it.
That's
That's
his
it. So
wishes.
look, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
us.
for having us,
As
man.
I said, we could have been here for 3 hours, so we're definitely going to catch up again. We'll go out for a coffee somewhere.
Definitely.
After
Thank you
that
for
one.
having us.
Thank
Take
you
care,
for
guys.
having us.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Makes you realise how important life is, and to basically spend every minute with your loved one and the people that mean something to you as much and as often as you can, and say what you want to say. Don't leave it till it's too late. I'm Matt Quokka, and this is Death Defined. Till next time.